Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kajuri Alameen. In my word of wisdom for today, I want to speak about recovery. Recovery means to return to a natural or normal state. To return to a natural or normal state is recovery. I've taught recovery groups, specifically for alcohol and drugs, for over 35 years. But recovery is bigger than returning to a natural or normal state from alcohol and drugs, much bigger. Sometimes we need to recover from low self-esteem. We need to recover from grief and loss. We need to recover from lying. We need to recover from shopping addiction. Addiction is out of balance. That's what the word addiction means, out of balance. And recovery means, once again, to return to a natural and or normal state. So my word of wisdom for today is, where are you at as far as your recovery go? What do you need to recover from? What do you need to return from? But what I want to leave with you is, recovery is a process, it's not an event. Let me say this again. Recovery is a process, it's not an event. So what are you saying, Mr. Kajuri? Don't rush your recovery. Don't rush your recovery. In my groups, I would tell people recovery is not something that you want to microwave. It's something that you want to crock pot. You want to take your time with it. Don't rush it. Cook it very, very slow. And in time, on time, and with time, you'll get where you need to be. Recovery also, once again, is an inside job. You can't let anybody tell you when you should have recovered. They didn't have your experiences. So they don't have a right to tell you where you should have recovered from and how quick you should get there. You will know. Your human clock goes, if I like to call it. You will know when you are recovering. But it's a process. And I want to encourage you, don't let anybody rush you. Also, people need to recover from sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. Don't let anybody rush you where you should be based on what on their timeline, but they were not in your experiences. Recovery, once again, is a process, ladies and gentlemen. It's not an event. I have been in the mental health business for 39 years. So I know what the hell I'm talking about, yet I'm in school every day. So I've seen people get very, very damaged, even as of late, where somebody else saying, you should be recovered from this by now. I'm going to do this and you do that, where you should be there by now. And that is so condescending, ladies and gentlemen. That is so condescending. We can all look at the same picture and get a different view. Let me say this again. We can all look at the same picture and get a different view. And that view that we'll get will come from our what? Our experiences. As some of y'all have heard me verbalize, 6 plus 3 is 9. 8 plus 1 is 9. 5 plus 4 is 9. So truth fluctuates because we get our truth based on our experiences. There's your truth, there's my truth, and then there's the truth. Anytime a person thinks they got the whole truth and everybody else is a lie, at that point you begin to live a lie. Let me say this again. Anytime there's a person that thinks you're the only one got the truth and everybody else is a lie, at that point you begin to live a lie. So I want to encourage you, don't let anybody rush you where you should be. I know some people try to make people feel guilty and shame. Well, you should have been recovered by now. This happened this year. This happened this month. You are not in the experiences. Don't let anybody rush you. Once again, recovery is a process. It's not an event. Strive to do something towards your recovery, whatever you may be recovering from each day. Consistency is important. Consistency is important. But don't let nobody rush you where you should be in your recovery or how long it took you to get there. That is an inside job. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, recovery is so important. But a lot of times people think it's just only alcohol and drugs. It's much bigger than that. Like I said, we got a lot of people that need to recover from other things besides alcohol and drugs. One I mentioned was a lot of people are in denial about certain things. A lot of people are telling rational lies to themselves. You need to recover from that stuff. Everything we do, ladies and gentlemen, is an inside job. Yes, we need to learn from others, through others, from others. That's great. But ultimately, at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the day, this is your DNA. It's a process to take ownership for your life, because the more ownership you take for your life, the less you blame others. The more ownership you take, the less you blame others. That is a process. You don't just wake up one morning and get there. It's a process. But I want to talk about this right now because recovery is so important. It's so very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let anybody rush you, and don't you rush you. But yet you want to be consistent and persistent, because what happens is when you are persistent, it allows you to get your recovery, and when you are consistent, it allows you to keep it. But that is a process. It's a process. So be okay with the process. Take your time. Be staying trying to do something to the best of your ability towards your recovery, whatever you may be recovering from. And you could be recovering from more than one thing, which is totally okay. So wise up, ladies and gentlemen. Wise up. Like I said, it's good to listen to people. Please hear me. I'm not devaluing it by any means. But don't let nobody try to sabotage your journey, sabotage your hurt, or your fears, or your pain, or your successes. There's a time you listen to people, there's a time you have to block them out. But I've seen this damage too many people where somebody says, well, you shouldn't be here by now. You should have been recovered from that by now. That is not okay, ladies and gentlemen. Walk your journey. You were here to do something that ain't nobody supposed to do but you. Period. Period. And in life, you're going to have some ups and downs, some ins and outs, some betrayals, some prosperity, some adversity, some hurt, some pain, some gains. Life. And whatever comes upon you, experience, ladies and gentlemen, is the best teacher. The best teacher. So learn from it each and every day. There are no losses in life. The older I get, the more I'm there now. There are no losses. There are only lessons to be learned and lessons that are learned. Some things we got to go through. We got to taste. We got to make us the spiritual beings having the beautiful experience that we are. We got to go through it. I do a group also called In Order to Come Out, you got to go through. You can't get around it. So go through it. In order to go through, in order to come out, you got to go through, I should say. But please, man, please, my message, don't let nobody rush you as you are recovering from your experiences or whatever you are recovering from. Please hear me, ladies and gentlemen, because I've seen that damage to many people. Take your time as you recover. Please, ma'am, and please, sir. Thank you so very kindly.